Hey everybody, I am AEP Machete. I am taking a short break from sending out my Honeyland bees on missions to tell you guys a little bit about Solblaze for the Solana Scribes Hackathon. So I hope you'll tune in and hopefully learn something. So before we dive in to talk about Solblaze itself, let's talk a little bit about staking on Solana in general. So when you stake Sol, you delegate your stake to validators on the Solana network. And so when you do this, you are earning interest on that staked Sol. And this in turn supports the validator operators through commissions on your interest. But there's a key friction point when doing this, and that is that when you stake your Sol, you're locking it up. And this Sol, once you start the unlocking process, will only be withdrawable at the end of the current Solana epoch. And this can be, up to 2 or 3 days at most. But if you really need that Solana at that point in time, that can be an eternity. And so to address this, we have something called liquid staking. And what this does is it allows you to stake Sol with a liquid staking provider and receive another token in return that represents that staked Sol plus the yield that it's going to gain over time. And you can see LSTs will generally increase in value over time. That Sol is currently worth, one B Sol is currently worth 1.1111 Sol, and that value will always go up as the yield that the staked Solana accrues is then passed on to the value of the BSol token. So now that you've liquid staked your Solana, what this allows you to do is then go and take that token that you got, 1 BSol, in exchange for however much Sol, and you can go and swap it on Jupiter. And so obviously the amount of liquidity will depend on how large a swap that you can make without losing out on price, but you now have access to instant liquidity on your staked position. And there's also another platform looking to build what's called the infinity staking layer on Solana. And this allows you to convert Solana or a staked account or a liquid staking token into liquid Solana or any other liquid staking token super easily. And this allows for flexibility. It allows for you to choose how you want to stake your Sol without having to fear about unlock times or figuring out where you're going to put it. And so another cool thing is referrals. You can refer your friends to Solblaze, and when you do that, if they stake with Solblaze, they are going to a small amount of BSol is going to get deposited into your wallet, and you're also going to earn a portion of the Solblaze points or Solblaze score that they earn through participating with BSol. And we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. So one important thing when you're staking with a liquid staking provider like BLZE Stake or Jito or Marinade is that that Solana is being allocated to a stake pool. And so what a stake pool is the group of validators that the Solana that you have put into it is delegated to. And so BLZE in their docs has a outline of how they choose the validators that they're going to stake to and how much gets allocated to each validator. And the goal essentially is to allocate to top performing validators, which will in turn have higher APY, as well as smaller validators that will increase the decentralization of the Solana network. And so you can see this page by Marinade that shows an example of some of the criteria that might represent a good validator. Things like their voting performance or the decentralization score of their data center, how they score in block production. All of these things are important things that could represent how valuable a validator is. And something super cool coming up is StakeNet. StakeNet is developed by Jito, and it is essentially similar to what was on the previous page, but built on chain. And so not only does the validator history of scoring for up to 3 years of history be stored on chain, but then their steward program uses that data and other information to control the stake pool. And so I hope in the future that liquid staking providers like BLZE and of course Jito itself and Marinade will use StakeNet to increase the decentralization of the Solana network through liquid staking providers. And something super interesting with BLZE specifically, you can't do this with any of the other liquid staking tokens as far as I know, is you can delegate directly to a specific validator. And so in this case, I've gone to the custom validators and I want to stake with the load. And so when I do that, it's going to take me to another page that is dedicated to staking with the load itself. And so now when I stake here, it's the same process where I stake my SOL and I receive BSOL in return, but now that stake gets directly delegated to my validator of choice. And as long as I keep that BSOL or any equivalent amount of BSOL in my wallet or in DeFi or liquidity, that SOL will stay delegated to the validator that I have chosen here. And so this is just a great way to participate in liquid staking while also supporting a validator that you trust, that you would like, or that you just want to support in general. And we'll talk about another extra little feature that can allow you to double down on that through their token. So now that you've staked BSOL, you're now receiving BLZE rewards. These BLZE rewards are always accruing based on your amount of BSOL in your wallet or in DeFi. And then every week or 2 weeks, sometimes a little longer, those tokens will get dropped into your wallet. And you can either go and sell them, gives you a little extra yield, convert it to more BSOL if you so desire, or you can do something that, in my opinion, is even better, and you can head it to their governance page. And you can lock that BLZE up. You keep the BLZE, you're just committing it to be locked up for a certain amount of time, and then that locked BLZE gives you votes. And now you can use those votes to vote on governance proposals, or you can head to the gauges page and you can use those votes to essentially bribe the protocol. And you can either allocate additional BLZE emissions to certain DeFi protocols, or you can even, as I was saying earlier, double down and allocate additional SOL to your validator of choice. And so what we'll do here is, needs to head back. Yeah, so you stake SOL, you lock it up in governance, and then you head to the gauges page, and you can see I've already prepared the validator stake for the load here. I'm going to change that value to a 1, and oops, I pressed the wrong button. I disconnected my wallet. We'll head back. So now we're going to head to the validators tab. We're going to search for the load, which is the validator I want to add stake to. And then we're going to add a 1 here. So now 1/3 of my BLZE weight is going to each 1 once I've signed that transaction. And so now a portion of the stake pool is allocated to gauge votes. And so your gauge vote will control some amount of Solana that will now be staked to the validator, in addition to the Solana that you directly staked and received a liquid staking token for. So you can double down and support validators that you like or that you feel have the best performance. and you also earn that BLZE that you have now locked up and basically tucked away for later. And they also have an upcoming points program that participation in things like this will probably it'll probably look good when those points end up launching. So now that you have your BSOL, you've staked it, you've received it, now you can go do something with it. You can deposit it into liquidity pools. You can put it in a lending platform like Solend or Camino or MarginFi. You can just keep it there if you want some extra yield, or you can borrow it, borrow another asset with that as collateral and use it for something else. One of my personal favorite things to do with BSOL is to deposit it on Drift, and you can use that as an interest-bearing collateral that you use to trade if you are a trader. But of course, not financial advice. Don't get liquidated. Your SOL is precious, and you want to keep it at all costs. So you can see there are a ton of options for using your BSOL in DeFi, and you should definitely explore all the options. And of course, consider the security and safety of your assets above all else. If you don't feel safe doing that, you can also just send it to your ledger and keep it there, and you never have to touch it again until you are ready to sell it back for Solana, either by unstaking or by swapping. So, and what something great about this is that it helps grow the liquidity and TVL in other Solana protocols, while also securing the network and capturing yield. You don't have to feel like you're missing out on staking yield, or missing out on DeFi airdrops or liquidity or additional yield from that. You can get both at the same time. And so lastly, I just wanted to emphasize the BLZE program was built by Solana Labs, and BLZE has worked with Solana Labs and the other stake pools to help build out additional functionality. It was audited, I think it's 8 times by multiple different auditing firms. So you can see they take the security of your Solana very seriously. But it is, of course, your own responsibility to decide whether you are comfortable with the security of the protocol for yourself. So I hope, oh yeah, and then also there's a big Twitter thread. I'll link it in the Twitter post that I make about this that has all the tokenomics. It has details about the utility of the BLZE token, and I just wanted to highlight 90% of this token is going or has gone to the users and the protocol itself, and only a small amount has gone to the founder, as he works to support BLZE and to support Solana as a whole through BLZE. So this really is a community-focused endeavor, and I personally am happy to support it and to also teach others how to use it as well. So I hope you enjoyed this overview of BLZE Sol, and I hope that you'll consider trying it out in the future. Let me know if you enjoyed this overview, and if you had any questions, or if you felt that I got something wrong and maybe I need to be corrected. So thank you so much. Shout out to my dear friends, Centuries the Load, who taught me so much about Solana and staking and how to better the network as a whole. And I hope all of you have a wonderful week and good luck in the Solana Scribes Hackathon. See you, everybody.